The semifinal showdown for the Supercharged Pro Modifieds at Anaheim, California will feature the top dog, Small Block Chevrolet, in the far lane of Tom Etheridge, taking on Ron Kirby's all-conquering pit boss. We saw Kirby go 2:09 on this 100-foot-long pit in the first round. Here's the man in the small block trying to upset this rat-motored Chevy-powered machine. They leave the line, and it's Kirby in an incredible charge, just barely nipping Etheridge in the small block. You could see Kirby leave the starting line second, but still driving around the small block at 2.37 seconds to go to the final round. A pretty violent finish line ride for Kirby, the veteran Californian in the supercharged 500 cubic inch Chevrolet. The small block was right with him in the other lane. Etheridge doing everything he could to stay in the hunt, just getting nipped at 2.53 seconds and coming airborne across the finish line in a losing effort, taking a wild bounce down through the shutdown area. So Ron Kirby's top dog goes to the final round. The small block underdog is out of the picture, and Kirby will take on the winner of this battle. In the far lane, Jess Carlson's Mudbuster, the only full-size machine in this category, takes on the executioner of Wayne SCHOTT, and problems almost immediately for both cars. This is incredible. Carlson leaves the starting line first in the truck. He's just wrapping the throttle, trying to get to the finish line first. There you see Wayne SCHOTT and the executioner finally shutting down. What an incredibly bizarre semifinal run between two of the quickest and fastest machines in this category. Carlson leaves the starting line first. That was obvious, but no rear-wheel drive. Look at the rear wheels. He was receiving no power to the back end of this machine. He knows that something is radically wrong, just wrapping the throttle to try and get as much distance out of this run as possible. At this point, I don't think he even realized, finally looking over and seeing that Wayne SCHOTT had more than problems off the starting line. In fact, look at the rear wheels. It's the exact same problem that Carlson was going through. No power to the rear wheels whatsoever. Here you see SCHOTT also hitting the throttle, looking over. He sees that it's a race, I guess you could say. But at this point, both of them can only hope that the front-wheel drive will pull them farther than their opponents. Finally, SCHOTT says, I've had enough. It's going to be interesting to see who can repair to come back for the final round against Kirby. Now the semifinal round of the unlimited category. In the near lane, the incredible extended cab entry of Steve Rulke against the frantic Falcon of Tony Loza. They leave the starting line, but again, the brute force truck just reels in his opponent after a 2-second elapsed time in the first round. It's going to be incredible if anybody can get around that extended bodied truck. An amazing ride. Rulke will advance to the final easily. On the replay, you can see the weight transfer on this truck is so good, the front wheels stay up on the pit for almost the entire ride. 2.79 seconds, 0.07 of a second slower than his first round battle. Still incredibly consistent. Rulke goes to the final round as the Falcon in the other lane was busy chugging along well behind. Loza gave it everything he could. A lot of tire spin off the starting line, and for that matter, not the straightest of angles going to the finish line. He'll take it on through at 3.75 seconds. It was nowhere near enough for Loza to get around Rulke's extended cab truck. Finally out of the pit, Loza goes back home. The Mustang of Jim Dara in the near lane will take on the incredible 1964 Ford Galaxy of Larry Harrison, the troublemaker in an all-Ford final, to see who will take on Steve Rulke's brute force in the unlimited trophy dash. A pair of 6,000-pound vehicles on the starting line. They leave the line, and it's an obvious advantage for the Galaxy. Actually, a tremendously close race between these two drivers. The troublemaker machine looked like it may have had an advantage both in elapsed time and reaction time, while Mustang of Dara took it through about a half a car length behind the Galaxy. Looking at Harrison's run at 3.22 seconds, you can see that he too had to drive around several different ruts just to get it to the finish line area. The question was a 3.22 second run good enough to outrun Jim Dara's Mustang? As we look at the slow motion replay, the ET comes up, and it was good enough. Hara slides through at 3.37 seconds, just behind the Galaxy, and that will send Harrison's troublemaker to the final round against Rulke's brute force. That 6,000-pound Mustang airborne at the finish line of this 100-foot-long pit. A wild, wild ride and a losing effort. That will bring us to the championship dash, the final round for the super modifieds. In the near lane, Dave Woodward's Yellow Submarine, the class of this field, all through eliminations, takes on Scott Lynch's full-size Tough Enough Chevy, who made this final as an alternate when Rick Scoutton's Blue Fox Jeep could not make repairs in time for the championship dash. Lynch will have to pull off the ultimate upset if he wants to get around the toughest driver in the supermodern class, this driver. They leave the starting line, and obviously the Yellow Submarine gets a little sideways, but drives away from Scott Lynch in convincing fashion. And once again, Woodward takes the Yellow Submarine to a super modified class championship. The man is virtually unbeatable on the West Coast in the non-supercharged category. He took kind of a wild ride down around three-quarter track. We see a lot of tire spin as he leaves the starting line, as this sloppy track is going to take the best of driving ability just to leave the line. Look at this wild ride, though, as the machine almost goes over on its left side. Woodward straightens her out, brings her out of the pit for another championship victory at 3.67 seconds. Woodward still unbeatable on West Coast competition. The final round of the Unlimited machines inches forward to the line. If anybody can beat this truck, it will be a minor miracle. 272 and 279 in his first and second round wins. Larry Harrison in the Troublemaker Galaxy tries to get off the line first, but look at Rulke just eat the Galaxy alive. Rulke with a big smile on his face. You can see that through the helmet. Whips her around to the delight of the crowd, as Lynn Harrison knows, if nothing else, that with his 7,000-pound Ford, he gave it everything he had. A tremendous run for the Unlimited class champion. Watch this replay, as even on a slippery track, he manages to bring the front wheels up out of the pit to start, and indeed drives her full throttle down without ever experiencing a problem. After a 272 and a 279, he goes 275 in this championship winning round. An amazing display of consistency and, as he puts it, brute force. Now, the supercharged Pro Modified final is on the line. Tom Etheridge in the top dog has been brought back as an alternate in the far lane. None of the other semifinalists could return, but Ron Kirby and the pit boss will take him on again if he has to. You saw these two meet in the semis. They leave the line, a lot of tire spin, and a tremendously close battle. Even with the sloppy track, these two drivers side by side all the way through. Kirby looking around to see if he won it. His crew says he did. Etheridge, the driver of the small block Chevrolet powered machine with the fire equipment on, thinks he won it. We're going to have to wait for the elapsed time to determine a victor in this championship battle. The track extremely sloppy on the starting line. You can see that in the tire spin as Kirby leaves the line. And Kirby has been given the victory. His elapsed time, 2.68 seconds. Etheridge goes through at 2:85. By less than 0.2 of a second, an incredibly close battle after Etheridge got the whole shot. Kirby in the Scotty's Automotive Jeep Funny Car takes the victory. We've got monster truck finals coming up as well, so don't go away. U.S. Harvard Association action continues in a moment.